Wow.
At a certain level, you're an artist, you're an entertainer, you're an athlete, you are a multimillionaire, billionaire, you have a high level of influence where anything that you say can change the perception, change the direction of the masses and what they're going to do, how they think, how they move. That's power, but it's also dangerous. They put a handler next to him to keep him in check. Harley Pasternak is a former Department of Defense special agent in the Canadian government. Number one, he's a nutritional scientist for the Department of Defense in the Canadian government. So he knows chemistry, how foods operate, but he knows certain drug techniques to use on human beings. He told Kanye, we're gonna have a conversation, but we're not gonna have a conversation where you're cursing or using profanity, and don't tell me about some stupid thing that your friend told you. The second option is, I can have you committed again. First of all, that's a threat to a psychiatric facility where you're going to be so doped up, playtime with the kids won't be the same. Wait a minute, you were the one that sent him to the psych ward in the first place. Now everybody can't say he's crazy. No, he is being handled by an agent who was sent to be right next to him to make sure that he doesn't get out of line. But Harley Pasternak also had other clients like Halle Berry, Jennifer Hudson, multiple clients. You need to look at this individual, and that is not somebody who should be around you. All of the artists, all of y'all have someone around you who is being sat next to you, who was sent there to keep you under control. That is a guaranteed fact. That I know. So you have to check all of the people around you and look at their military background if they have one. Look at their background to see what their area is when it comes to chemistry, their connections to hypnotists and hypnotherapy, all of this stuff. This is a very critical thing that we all should look at.
That's another shit that cracked me up. White people say they don't believe in aliens till you ask them who built the pyramids. Aliens. Then ask them any other time. There's no such thing as aliens. Crazy. They just don't want to believe a black man designed something that they can't fuck with to this day. You understand me? Motherfucker, you know how we built the pyramids? You ever play in the sandbox? You gotta ask a simple question. Just always flip the script. What if up is down and down is up? What if you look down into space standing up on Earth? This is how we built the pyramids. You play in the sandbox. It's easy to move a mountain of sand into position. Once you wet sand, it holds its form like concrete. You put the first brick at the apex of this motherfucker, right? You move sand out of this corner and that corner and place bricks there on both sides all the way to the top. Now you let the sand dry out and drop that brick right through that bitch. Sand under pressure when it's dry moves like fluid. That's why you always find viaducts in all of the motherfucking pyramids, so the sand can shoot the fuck out the bitch. Now you have a hollow cosm. And it's built into the ground in the same specs. It's not really a pyramid, it's a diamond. It is now topped off by quartz, and at the bottom is topped off by quartz. When moonlight comes through, it refracts off of the quartz in the bottom, the first refracting laser, illuminating the night sky, which is why they called Pharaoh God, because he could turn night into day. Thus the all-seeing eye on your dollar bill above the pyramid. Because the only part of the human body made out of quartz is a human eye. When it dries out, it's small granules of quartz. That's why light transfers through it. Holla at your boy.
Total mind control, Manchurian candidates. Could such things actually be possible? Could someone you know, or perhaps even yourself, have hidden programmed identities deep within the mind?
Imagine finding out that you've got disassociated parts of yourself that are Satanists.
Not only is it possible, it is happening now and on an unimaginable scale.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood.
Some celebrities, professional athletes, spies, politicians, as well as common citizens, police officers, taxi drivers, etc., are under total mind control, undetectable slavery.
This mind control is totally undetectable.
These mind control victims have multiple fragmented identities capable of carrying out a variety of tasks with no later memory of the event. Most never discover what they truly are or how they have been controlled. Mind control is a sliding scale and can come in many forms, from everyday information control as we see with the corporate-controlled media, to brainwashing, to drugs, hypnosis, and total mind control. The most extreme form of mind control, trauma-based mind control, uses hypnosis, torture, and drugs to create a total mind-controlled slave. The brain, being the incredible computer that it is, creates amnesic barriers around events that would be too damaging for the conscious mind to process. Often, a returning veteran will be unable to remember parts of his deployment. Someone injured in a horrific car accident will likely not remember the entire ordeal. The brain walls off memory surrounding events much like the partitioning of a computer hard drive. By taking advantage of this mechanism within the brain, programmers can create completely dissociated parts within the mind that function totally unaware of one another. The secret lies in dissociation. This special ability within the mind is what allows Navy SEALs to lie motionless for extreme periods, Indian fakirs to walk on red-hot coals, and, as the Spanish learned during the Inquisition, prevent some from feeling pain during torture. Multiple personality disorder, now called DID, is caused by trauma at a young age and can be created deliberately or by accident. Most people can dissociate to some degree, but only a few can create completely dissociated identities. These are the people mind control programmers look for: a dissociative. When put under extreme conditions, why do some people survive and not others? What gives some the ability to rise to the occasion? It is an ability, what some call a gift, and through trauma, this ability can be honed, developed, so that the person becomes more than what they were before: a monarch.
Got to the incubator babies. In our study of the true history of our Earth, the incubator babies is what really got me. A gut punch like no gut punch I had ever experienced before. Of course, from the incubator babies, we lead into the concept of orphan trains. We look at how all of a sudden, in the 1800s, coming into the 1900s, our world was overrun with children. Children who had no parents. Children who were allegedly orphaned. Now, the controllers will tell you this is because during the Victorian age, and yes, through one line of my family, I am Queen Victoria's, one of her 5 times great-grandchildren, not something I'm super proud of, but that is true. I am one of her descendants. There are many. But the Victorian age was one that was considered to be a very conservative age. And so the controllers will tell you that we had these orphans because when women would get knocked up outside of wedlock, they would give their baby away to a workhouse, a factory, or an orphanage in order to then be able to have a life. This was sold to us as some selfless act. Of course, the mother giving up her child in hopes that the child will be adopted, and so therefore the child can have a life and she can have a life, because if she had kept the child, no respectable man would have married her. And so therefore her and the child would both be destitute. But the thing is that the math doesn't add up. How do we have so many workhouses, factories, streaming full of hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of children? It's not mathematically possible for all of these children to have been orphaned by their mothers. So where did these orphans come from? Is it possible that there was a mud flood that took out Tartaria? And then just like in the Apocryphon of John, one of the missing books of the Bible, again, Apocryphon means secret teaching or secret message. Is it possible then at the start of Gog and Magog, the controllers, the Luciferians, were granted access to the DNA of the dead bodies from Tartaria, where they were then able to start to manipulate our DNA and grow our ancestors on this timeline in incubators? Is it possible that this is where all these orphans came from?
The Tartarians were the builders, the giants. They had free electromagnetic healing energy when they were cathedrals, and then they were all wiped out by the mud flood, because it goes flood, fire, flood, fire. And then they created the